Welcome to the Uncharted 4 Heavy Weapon Guide. In this Heavy Weapon Guide we'll be covering all the heavy weapons in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer and try to figure out which one's the best one that suits your playstyle. We'll be covering the weapons in depth, looking over the stats that are taken directly from the game and also stats we've tried to calculate ourselves as well to try and give you a better representation of what they actually mean. One thing I quickly want to note however is the maximum bullets stat that I put at the end of each clip. Now this is only after the first purchase of the gun, it's not after the final purchase and it's not the full maximum amount of bullets the gun can actually hold. The first heavy weapon is the China Lake. The China Lake is a grenade launcher. After you first purchase, the China Lake will hold 4 grenades. After you fire off a grenade, there is an animation between each shot. Unlike the hammer on Uncharted 3, you can't just rapidly spam the grenades. The damage model for the China Lake obviously will be very high, as a 2-hit down doesn't matter how far the range is, providing you get the rocket near enough to your enemy, allowing it to do enough splash damage. The grenade will detonate on impact on any hard surface, so aiming it at the ground or at any walls closer to your enemy would be better than aiming it at your enemy specifically. As any other heavy weapon, you can obviously purchase more ammo for this weapon as the game progresses. The reload time for the China Lake is about 4.5 seconds, so that is about a second for each grenade that is loaded back into the chamber. The recommended scenario to use the China Lake would be at medium range, and I would recommend shooting at already damaged enemies. The China Lake does roughly 80% damage, so it does do a lot of damage, however it's not 100% to kill the enemy with one grenade. I would not recommend the China Lake at close range, because once I fire at enemies I also find that the splash damage also affects myself and downs me also. Even though the heavy weapons are made for practically easy kills, the China Lake does take a bit of time and a bit of skill to master it well. The final thing I would like to mention with the China Lake is the blind fire. Moving around and blind firing with the China Lake is very effective as you're a moving target and you're also doing a lot of damage to hopefully a group of enemies, and that's the way I'd recommend using the gun. Moving on to the Stoner, this is the second heavy weapon in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer, and this is a light machine gun. Also, this is my least favourite heavy weapon in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. Even though the Stoner is fully automatic and does a lot of damage, the main reason why I don't like this gun is because the strafe speed whilst you're firing is so slow, and that's something I rely on to get most of my kills. I understand this was done to balance the gun so it wasn't too overpowered. The initial purchase of the Stoner will grant you 75 bullets, which is fantastic with this gun. With the initial purchase you can actually kill the enemy team almost twice over, providing that you don't miss too many shots, and at medium range this gun can destroy anyone. Not only that, when you do purchase more ammo, there's no need to reload this gun at all. It just adds it to the remaining bullets you have left, and you're just continuing firing without having to reload a single time. Continuing to fire without having to reload makes the Stoner stand out compared to any other heavy weapon in this game. At medium range, the Stoner's recoil is not difficult to control at all, and at long range I'd recommend firing at short bursts to get the best effectiveness from this gun. With the Stoner, you're more or less a standing turret, which is fantastic. There's no need to reload, there's no need to do anything, you can just control that recoil. However, the one thing you do need to watch out for is the lower strafe speed, so you're more or less just standing still. However, the best way to use this gun would be to take cover a reasonable distance away from your enemies, and then use the gun that way from behind cover, which would be the most effective way to use this gun. With the RPG, there's not really much to say. Everyone knows what an RPG is all about. Everyone knows sort of the rough stats, what it's going to be anyway, without even having to pick up the weapon and actually use it. The RPG can be used at more or less any range, and the blind fire accuracy is also quite good. I mean, it's only firing off one rocket anyway, so just make sure you place your shot right, and that's more or less it. You're going to get a one-hit kill regardless of who you're shooting against. This even includes the Brute sidekick, which everyone knows is quite difficult to kill. This is still a one-hit kill for even the Brute. If you're using the RPG at close range, I would just definitely watch out for that splash damage, as you can damage yourself with this gun. If you plan on buying multiple rockets for this, it does have just over a 2-second reload. Of course, the RPG could take out multiple enemies at once if they're grouped together, however the radius of the blast isn't too big, so I definitely watch out for that. And I can easily recommend this to any player at any skill level. The Barrock's definitely one of my favourite heavy weapons. Regardless of what you do, you're definitely going to get a 2-hit kill, if not a 1-hit kill if you land a headshot. The accuracy is fantastic, it's practically for all ranges, and the blind fire accuracy is also amazing with this gun. There's little to no recoil with the Barrock. It's a 1-hit headshot or a 2-hit body shot down. You can pick out enemies at medium range and headshot them with ease. It does the same damage as the China Lake without the splash damage, since it doesn't have an explosion. The initial purchase with the Barrock will buy you 6 bullets, which is more than enough to kill either 6 enemies or 3 enemies, depending on if you're getting body shots or headshots. There is a slight delay between each shot with the Barrock, however it's not significant. If you are quite good at using semi-automatic guns in this game, I definitely recommend using the Barrock as a heavy weapon. I recommend the Barrock in gun only loadouts, so a primary weapon, a secondary weapon and a heavy weapon. That way any in-game cash you earn will all go towards the Barrock's ammo. And once you master it, the Barrock will make you a beast when you're playing in this multiplayer. The Condor is what I call the real shotgun in this multiplayer. The Spizzotti is not as good when it comes to damage, or even blind fire for that matter. And the Condor has all the shotgun traits. It has a high damage model, so it's a 1-hit headshot and a 2-hit body shot. It's good at close to medium range. You can actually get medium range kills with this without any problem at all. There's a very insignificant pump animation between each shot, which makes this gun more or less semi-automatic, and it has a really good fire rate for a shotgun. The reload time is ridiculously low for this gun. Maybe it should be nerfed, but I don't think it's that bad since it is a heavy weapon. Also, the blind fire accuracy on this is absolutely fantastic. You can blind fire enemies up to medium range and still hit them. Obviously you're not going to be doing 100% damage to your enemy since there is quite a lot of spread with this gun. However, if you're shooting someone that already has taken damage, you will be able to kill them no problem at medium range. There is a loadout point that you gain for using the heavy weapons. Now that comes after you unlock the Barrock and not the ARX. They go to unlock the Condor or the ARX depending on if they use the heavy weapons or not, and they just want the loadout point. Now, if you haven't unlocked both of these guns, you can still use them inside the preset loadouts to give you an idea of whether you want to unlock it or not. Finally, we're talking about the ARX. The ARX is a fully automatic assault rifle. Now, this could be everyone's favourite heavy weapon. Now, the reason why that is because it has a very high rate of fire. The recoil is easily controlled without a problem at all, especially at medium to close range. The blind fire accuracy is amazing since it is fully automatic. The ARX in skilled hands can go toe to toe with any gun in this game, regardless of what it is, a shotgun, an assault rifle, a heavy weapon. That's not due to its damage. The damage is quite similar to any other primary weapon inside this game. It's got a 6 bullet down headshot or an 8 bullet down body shot, which is just on par with something like the AK-47 or something similar. It's mainly due to scaring off your enemies with the rate of fire that it has, and this has the highest rate of fire in the game. Pair that with a 1.5 second reload time and this gun is just fast at everything. After the first purchase with the ARX, it will grant you 60 bullets, which is about 2 magazines worth. The only thing that will take a bit of time to master is the recoil itself, but at longer ranges. If you're able to control that, this will be a perfect heavy weapon. To do well with this gun, you don't even need to be a beginner or you've even played Uncharted before or anything at all. You can practically pick up this gun and do well with it straight away. Whilst I'll leave you with the best headshot sniping clip, courtesy of the Uncharted 4 multiplayer, I want to take this time out to tell you about our future videos that are coming out. We're going to have guides on the mysticals, the sidekicks, the gear, and also the secondary weapons, and we may also have some tips and tricks videos coming out as well. Whilst you're waiting for the next video, I want you guys to test out this new game mode that we made up. All the details for the game mode will be in the description if you want to try it out, but basically you need to swing on any of the ropes that you find inside the Uncharted 4 maps, and use sniper only whilst you're scoped in only. Now you can try it with blind fire, but it makes it much easier. However, if you only use it when you're scoped in, it makes it a good challenge. Finally, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more videos, subscribe. If you enjoyed this one, like it. And if you want to see behind the scenes action, follow us on Twitter.